In the studio now with Dr. Mona Kumar, clinical psychologist. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And Dr. Kumar is here to talk to us about how to talk to our kids about COVID-19. Hey, how you doing over there, by the way?
Hi, over there, 6 feet away.
Yes, we are practicing social distancing here at the studio. So Dr. Kumar, how should we be talking to our children about the coronavirus?
I think that's a great question because it's on their minds. And so we want to make sure that home is a place where they feel like the information that they need to have is available to them and that it's being presented to them in a way that's straightforward, simple, basic, and developmentally appropriate. So you want to be giving them just, as minimal information as possible to allow them to get a sense of what's going on. There's something called the coronavirus. It's like a flu. If you're a kid, you might get it, but probably not get too sick. But there are other people, in our neighborhood, maybe older people, maybe people who are not feeling well, who might get it and get more sick. And so that's what the coronavirus is. And you want to keep it developmentally appropriate. So if you've got a school-age child, their concerns might be different than, someone who's older. What does this mean as far as school is concerned, And you're going to be talking about how how schools are closed for the next few months, and here's what we're going to be doing at home to make up for the schoolwork that you're going to be missing, or here's how we're going to make sure you still get to stay in touch with your friends even though you can't have play dates anymore. Whereas with someone who's older, maybe you're going to be talking about things like flattening the curve and sheltering in place. So you're going to really try to pick the concepts that match the age and the developmental level that your children are at. You're also going to be thinking about and listening for what they want to know. So this isn't just, a one-size-fits-all, I'm going to lecture you about the coronavirus. You're going to listen for what are they wondering about? Are they worried about school? Talk about that. Are they excited that they're not going to have to go back to school? Your response is going to be completely different. So it's really going to be customized to the age and the interests of your children.
So when explaining things like hygiene and cleanliness, is it good to have a visual?
Absolutely. There is this great video actually that's everywhere right now on the internet, and it's called the pepper experiment, and it shows how pepper, which represents the coronavirus, sticks to water unless you expose it to soap, in which case it moves away from water. So it really helps to illustrate the importance of washing hands. And when it comes to our kids, one of the things that we can do to help make this a teachable moment and to help them feel more safe in the world and to help them feel like they can do something about this is to teach them what they can do to protect themselves and others from the coronavirus. And of course, one of the things that we're hearing about all the time is washing hands. And this experiment really gives them a great way of seeing it in action. So
I actually remember that
yes.
experiment. I remember doing that when I was in grade school.
Yeah.
And it made me realize just how soap works. Really great experiment.
It's really cool.
How can we establish some kind of normalcy for our kids at this time?
Yeah. So I think the best thing you can do for your kids is to maintain some form of structure. Now the structure is going to look a little different than it did when they were, going through a regular school day, but there's a lot that you can mimic. There's a lot that you can do at home that's still very similar to the rhythm and the pace that they're accustomed to. So they're still going to wake up at a certain time. They're still going to have their meals at certain times. Homeschool is a big thing right now for our kids, and it might seem a little stressful to some parents, maybe, but I think it's actually amazing. I think it is just the best thing for our kids, and there's so many resources out there, and if you feel ill-prepared or you don't know what to do, there are you can there are already pre-created curriculums that you can just offer to them. If you want to get more creative, but that's a really great way to bring the structure that they're already accustomed to into the home environment.
Consistency is the key.
Consistency is the key.
You hear that, kids? Bedtime. more than likely will be the same time. Don't trip.
That's right.
Okay.
Can I also add just one more thing?
Absolutely.
One of the things that our kids are really missing right now is not being able to have contact with their friends.
Yes.
So you can bring all that structure into the house, but what you can't right now bring into the house are their friends. And so one of the things that is really important to do is to create virtual play dates. So they're still getting that social component, and that can look different for different kids. You know, maybe some kids are going to want to get on their devices and play a video game with each other. You know, some kids are going to want to, you know, be sitting next to their Lego blocks and they're building things together, but they've got their iPads in front of them. So I just want to emphasize that the social piece, which is not available to us right now live in person, is still something you can incorporate, and it means a lot to the kids.
Absolutely. Skype, Zoom, FaceTime. I'm even utilizing those a lot more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really does help.
Right. And it helps with the social isolation. I mean, just as it does for us as adults, really helps to help kids feel like they are still, you know, their friends are still around, they're not isolated, and that we're all going through the same thing.
Yes. How do we talk to our kids about hygiene and social distancing when it comes to grandma and grandpa without making them paranoid?
Right. So, you know, going back to what I was saying earlier, when you're explaining to your kids why, you know, why we need to wash our hands and how COVID can affect people, one of the things you're sharing with them is that for some people the effects aren't so severe, but for other people it really can be. And so our job as kids, as adults, as healthy people, is to not only take care of ourselves, but to do what we can to take care of those who really need our protection. And one of the ways in which we're doing that is by maintaining distance from those people who are more likely to contract the disease and more likely to suffer from it. And so it's important to, you know, not make kids feel like we're trying to keep you away from grandma, grandpa, but more we're trying to keep all of us, you know, away from grandma, grandpa, because that's what grandma and grandpa need right now, and that's how they're going to be safest. So it's not singling out the kids, it's really making it a family, a collaborative, a societal effort that kids get to play an important part in.
So what you don't want to say is, this could possibly kill grandma and grandpa.
Right.
Big no.
Right. You don't want to use the sensational, scary, over-the-top language. Kids don't need that. They really don't need that.
So where can parents go to find more information on how to talk to their kids about COVID-19?
So there are a ton of websites out there. One of the websites that I've come across is called livescience.com, but that, as I said, is just one of many great websites to look at for information for your children. What I would recommend is when you're entering in your search, so say you're looking up coronavirus, type in coronavirus and then add to that info for kids, and that's going to really help to narrow down your selection of websites to just those that have information that kids can themselves consume or that can be very easily transmitted to them, or that's not the best word, but can be very easily shared with them by their parents, because it's in very kid-friendly language. A lot of times there's fun images. You know, you don't want kids to feel scared. You want them to feel educated and empowered.
And comfortable,
and
too.
Comfortable,
yeah,
too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Kumar, for
You're
joining
welcome.
us today. And don't forget to check out elsegundo.org for all the latest, current, and accurate information on COVID-19.